Welcome to part 3 of the Docker interview pack, Data and Networking. 5 of the most asked questions about where your data lives and how containers talk, climbing from very easy to genuinely hard. Same rules, one slide is the question, the next is the answer. So when you see a question, pause and answer it out loud before I reveal it. The first 3 are warm-ups. The last 2 are where real Docker engineers earn their title. Let's see how far you get. Question 1. Very easy. You write some data inside a running container, then you delete that container. What happens to the data? Pause here and answer it out loud before I show the answer. The answer. The data is gone. A container has a thin writable layer that's created when the container starts and destroyed when the container is removed. Anything you wrote there goes with it. If you want data to survive, you store it outside the container, in a volume. The one-liner, delete the box and its scribbles go with it. Question 2. Easy. What's the difference between a named volume and a bind mount? Both keep data alive past the container, but they're not the same thing. Pause and answer. The answer. A named volume is managed by Docker. Docker decides where on disk it lives, and it's the right choice for databases and application data because it's portable and easy to back up. A bind mount maps a specific folder from your host machine into the container, the right choice for local development, where you edit code on the host and want the container to see the changes live. The quick tell, if the left side is a name, it's a volume. If it's a path starting with // or /, it's a bind mount. Question 3. Medium. How do two containers talk to each other? This is where networking interviews start filtering. Pause and answer. The answer. You put both containers on the same user-defined network. Once they're on it, Docker's built-in DNS lets them reach each other by container or service name, so your app can connect to a host called DB instead of chasing a changing IP address. The catch that earns the point: the default bridge network does not give you name-based DNS. You have to create your own network with Docker Network Create, or let Docker Compose do it for you. Quick checkpoint. If you answered the first 3, nice, but those were the easy half. The questions almost anyone using Docker can handle. Here's the honest line. If you call yourself a Docker engineer, you should be able to answer the last 2. This is exactly where juniors and pros split. The difficulty is about to jump. Question 4 is hard. Question 5 is genuinely tough. Question 4. Hard. What's the difference between publishing a port with -p and the expose instruction? And while you're at it, bridge versus host networking? This is a real engineer's question. Pause and answer. The answer. Expose is documentation only. It records which port your application listens on inside the image, but it doesn't open or publish anything by itself. To actually let the outside world in, you publish with -p. -p 8080:80 maps a port on the host to a port in the container. On networking modes, bridge is the default. Every container gets its own network namespace and sits behind a NAD virtual bridge, isolated from the host. Host networking shares the host's network stack directly, faster and skips the NAT, but you lose isolation, and it's Linux only. Question 5. Very hard, the expert question. Under the hood, how does container networking actually work? No analogies, they want the real Linux mechanics, namespaces, virtual interfaces, bridges, and optables. Pause and give it your best shot. The expert answer. Each container gets its own network namespace, its own interfaces, routing table, and ports, isolated from the host. To connect it, Docker creates a wait pair, a virtual Ethernet cable with two ends. One end becomes H0 inside the container's namespace, the other plugs into the Docker 0 bridge on the host, which acts like a virtual switch and routes traffic between containers. Then Iptables does the plumbing. Outbound traffic is NAD, masqueraded behind the host's IP, and every published port is a NAT rule forwarding host:port to container:port. Finally, on user-defined networks, Docker runs an embedded DNS server that resolves names to container IPs. Namespace, wait pair, Docker 0 bridge, Iptables, and DNS. So, how many did you get? 1 or 2 is a solid start. 3 is good. 4 is strong. And if you nailed all 5, including the internals, honestly, hire this person. Drop your score in the comments and tell me which question you'd like explained in full. Every one of these has a complete episode in the Docker Explained series. To learn Docker the easy way, subscribe to the channel. And next up in this pack is part 4, Production and OPS.